Like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today?
All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition that cannot be automated or repeated or replaced by a machine.
ChatGPT may kill many companies.
A human has to be in the loop with an ability to control this.
Dark side of the boom. How?
Hello and welcome to this News9 special. Now, when we are looking at the third day meet of the I.N.D.I.A Bloc, it is quite interesting to see that when the I.N.D.I.A alliance comes together, they are probably moving with a plan of action. And they are also probably going to have a formal structure for this alliance. And interestingly enough, after the informal meeting that was held yesterday for the members of the India National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, well, formal talks have already begun. And the first part of it is to bring a structure to this alliance. Now, what we understand is that in these formal talks, it is expected that a decision will be taken on the 11-member coordination committee, and also they will pick up a logo to represent the entire alliance as such. Now, the alliance will address the media on various decisions it has taken shortly after they finish the meeting. Now, the coalition had announced on Thursday that the seat sharing would be finalized by the 30th of September. One of the contentious issues over here, and also a kind of power play that is happening in the background between the alliance partners and of course the bigger player in the picture, that is the Congress. Well, to discuss more about this, we have with us Lieutenant Commander retired Gokul Chandran, who is also a political analyst as such. And before that, we are also in fact going to get you a series of reactions on this particular aspect of the alliance meet that we are looking at. Let us in fact try to figure out what is possible, and let us also see how the elements when it comes to the issue about what they will try to in fact bring in when we have the one elections, one poll kind of one nation, one poll kind of a system that the government is in fact getting to put into the aspect of trying to put the bloc also on the back foot. So I think right now we in fact see the kind of political churning that is happening both on the opposition front as well as on the side of the government. Kiran Tare was at the location just ahead of the meet when the leaders were arriving for that meet. So let's listen into what Tare had said just as the leaders came in for that meet.
The focus is completely on Congress. We can see the Congress is dominating this India meeting. But there is some sort of uneasiness among the other alliance partners which are not coming forward to express their views and express their thoughts on what the alliance is looking like, what their demands and how the seat sharing will shape up in coming days. As far as the preparations on second day is concerned, you can see everywhere the media people like us, they have gathered everywhere. Everybody is waiting for the meeting to start, and of course people are very curious to know whether this logo will be unveiled, what could be the design of this logo. But my sources are saying that there are some kind of differences in opinion regarding the design of the logo. That is why the logo unveiling has been delayed by a day. India Alliance is going to have its common minimum program, but it will be interesting to see whether they will formulate the common minimum program today itself, or there will be a joint declaration which will clear their future strategies. India Alliance everywhere in Mumbai, there is a talk that India Alliance is going to make a big impact on the coming elections. However, very interestingly, the Shinde camp which is the rival of Uddhav Thackeray Sena. The Shinde Sena has put up very nice hoardings across Mumbai, quoting Balasaheb Thackeray, who was the founder of Shiv Sena, that I will never ever join hands with Congress. The Marathi line says, "Me Congress sobat kadihi जाणार nahi," with a huge picture, with a huge hoarding of Balasaheb Thackeray in the backdrop of the India Alliance meeting. This hoarding has become a talking point of the town. Another hoarding which we can say that which can set a tone of this meeting is a hoarding put up by the Janata Dal United supporters, which says Desh Mange Nitish. So in a clear way, the supporters of Nitish Kumar have been are projecting him as the future Prime Minister. He has been, they want him to be projected him as the PM face of the India Alliance. Whether it will be done or not, today the joint press conference will make some points clear, but my sources are saying that they are not going to announce any face. They are going to announce several committees which will be constituted to finalize a formula regarding seat sharing, plus the regional ambitions of the regional parties. The regional parties want a larger pie in the seat sharing. So the formula will be more or more regional parties centric rather than the national parties like Congress.
Well, that was my colleague Kiran Tare, who was in fact speaking about what to expect, and also some kind of palpable kind of uncertainty when it comes to the riling points about how this alliance will in fact be, because as Tare was saying, a question about seat sharing is there. Let's start with the logo itself. They have in fact delayed the unveiling of the logo, is what Tare is saying, because of a few different. So by a day it's been delayed, but however we are expecting that logo to be unveiled. And then about the common minimum program, whether the common minimum program will be finalized today also, or will it be kind of an announcement that will be, or a declaration that will be made on the part of the India Alliance partners. Well, joining me on this discussion is retired Lieutenant Commander Gokul Chandran, who is also a political analyst, who joins us. Gokul Chandran, when I see the third meeting of the alliance, of course, it looks like it's taking shape. You're trying to give shape. But it also looks like that the Congress is trying its best not to give this idea that, you know, when it comes to the alliance, the Congress is not that big brother. It's not giving that kind of an open statement, but somewhere around the Congress is actually throwing its weight. So an India Alliance, first of all, of course, the name is becoming very difficult for us journalists, because we have to, you know, distinguish between the country, and then I tend to spell it out. So I have to spell it out every time when I say that I.N.D.I.A, because it's a political grouping. But at the same time, for that tongue twister, of course, what is it that why is the Congress trying to play very hard, saying that it's not the big brother, but when it comes to certain matters, it is actually putting its foot down? So what exactly is the Congress trying to do with the alliance?
Yeah, good afternoon. See, as far as Congress party is concerned, Congress party and India party has its presence in every state of India, and I don't think it is wrong to have a big brotherly attitude within the alliance, because there should be a rallying point for all the regional parties to come around, and that is the Congress party. So Congress party knows how to accommodate all these people, because we have earlier also we have seen UPA 1, UPA 2, where the regional parties were successfully taken forward for a successful government. And in the same way, the India Alliance, the regional parties should come together with the Congress party and be part of this alliance to defeat BJP. Because see, the main goal of all these regional parties is not shying away from Congress or having reservations on Congress being the big brother. The main motto of all these regional parties is to get away with the BJP government, get away with the Modi government, and all are sure that once again Mr. Modi shouldn't come to power, or else the nation will get into an autocratic mode, and the democracy is going to be buried in the nation if after the election, if BJP
Gokul,
again comes to power.
Gokul, sorry to just interrupt you, but it's coming from a party that imposed emergency, you know, that saying that it could go into an autocratic mode.
The naming the emergency which was declared then by Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi, if you see the conditions at that time, that things were different, and it was a declared emergency. What we are seeing today is an undeclared emergency. Even when you had emergency, there was a declared emergency, the basic rights, the basic human rights were not violated. Can you give me incidents where the basic human rights were violated, like your food, freedom to worship, freedom to wear what you want, freedom
See,
to
if,
live
as
where
a
you want,
journalist, if
freedom
I
to go
start
wherever you
digging
want?
back what happened in the emergency, I mean, there are hundreds of people who have written about that period, about the brutality of that period. So I'm not going to, come and actually point out all those factors, the demolitions that happened, the sterilization of one community completely, whom you tend to be protecting. So this thing, it's not that, I have any love for any other political party, but the fact remains is I try to give that objectivity to this. But anyway, Google, and we just started off with that aspect. So when you're saying that you don't require to I mean, it's nothing wrong for the Congress to have a big brother attitude, but it looks like it's trying to subdue it somewhere, saying that it doesn't want to, bring out that aspect of being a big brother.
See, not exactly. See, if you take a state like Tamil Nadu, the DMK is the powerful party, and DMK is the senior partner, and Congress party will toe the line of DMK as far as elections are concerned, because DMK is more of a regional party with regional aspirations, and Congress will be a part of DMK's alliance within Tamil Nadu. But if you take the state of Delhi or Punjab, the scenario will be different.
I take the Tamil
In
Nadu
Punjab,
experience,
AAP and Congress.
Gokul, if I take the Tamil Nadu experience, so you're saying there is going to be a Periya Thambi and a Chinna Thambi. That is to say, there's going to be an elder brother and a younger brother. But their roles will keep different, changing as you go when it comes to the state. We're also, in fact, joined in by Anurag Naidu, who joins us. Anurag, who's also a political analyst. Anurag, how do you see this myriad, kind of grouping of parties? Technically, the only thing that seems to be uniting them is that they have been worried about the BJP's rise and how BJP has been using the political system to an extent where most of the opposition parties have never thought of using it, in the sense that the laws have been used well, the parliamentary loopholes have been used well. They have been able to, in fact, put out the policies as well. A well-studied party that has put the opposition on the back foot. So it looks like the worry is that the BJP, if continues to do that, some of the democratic freedoms that we enjoy today, or we take it for granted, could be eroded. So that is the fear that they have, and therefore they have this alliance coming in. I have a question. Most of these alliance partners that we have over here, but technically, though regional parties, were actually opposition parties that grew against the Congress. If I look at the AAP, it made a career out of fighting against the Congress. The CPIM is a long-tested historical enemy of the Congress, and the Shiv Sena, of course, we know that they also had a career going against the Congress. And similarly, a lot of these parties, RJD also, all of them came as opposition to the Congress. Today, it is a historical irony that they are now dependent on the Congress for their own survival. I would say kind of a democratic spirit, pragmatic politics at work. And how do you in fact see it?
I think well put out, but I would not agree, as an analyst, that they are still claiming to be dependent on the Congress. Nobody's saying that. They're shying away from the fact, even admitting the fact that Congress is the bigger party. I mean, of course, they have about 40, 44 odd MPs. Naturally, they are the party with the largest share of MPs. But nevertheless, even the likes of Mamata Banerjee or the likes of Mr. Stalin, who has close to as many MPs as Congress in the parliament, are shying away from saying that we are all dependent on the Congress. So if it was the fact that they would say that we are dependent on the Congress, then I think we had a very clear-cut story. But right now, I think they have not even reached the mark of zero. They're still, say, we started with -3 in Patna, then they became -2 in Bangalore, and then now probably 0 in when I'm just counting it from the back, so that now they are in a level playing field. They are going to have a logo or whatever. They want to have a brand or something. But I think the time is running out, and if they have not figured out the political narrative and the strategy, this logos, branding, and this conferences, networking events will not help the opposition in any way, because in principle, when they sit and start discussing on important issues, say, for example, who is going to be the face, or are we going to even have the face or not? Are we really serious about putting only one candidate per seat? And then what happens to close to 30-35% of the seats that are in contention, where they are fighting internally with each other. Yeah, I would seriously not take parties they are broken away because of the BJP's impact. For them it is more of a survival battle.
Mr.
And
Anurag,
they don't see any other option.
Mr. Anurag, for me, what I see is that the BJP has been able to unite the opposition. There is a common fear among the oppositions to the point that they are ready to embrace. They are ready to embrace their former rival because they think the former rival is nationally present. They can come under that particular grouping, and just imagine all of them with different kind of ideologies. Some of are socialists, some were centrists, some were even far right. If you look at the Shiv Sena, all of them are ready to come. So the opposition is only against the BJP. So the BJP technically has united them.
No, BJP, I mean, I look at it in a different way. I don't see, when you say united them, first of all, it doesn't give me a sense that they're united. Second, the people who are talking, whether it is the Shiv Sena or the NCP, this is not a Shiv Sena or NCP that is there with the Congress, is the vote getters for the Shiv Sena or the vote getter for NCP. The vote getter people who are the winnable candidates, who are the people who have built the party, are not there with them. Whether it is Eknath Shinde, whether it is Ajit Pawar, I've come from Maharashtra, I've grown up in Maharashtra, the kind of clout that Ajit Pawar has over MLAs, including them from the opposition, he used to influence seats where even NCP is not into the picture, but he was in touch with number 2, number 3 in this constituency. So he was an executive officer in charge for the NCP. So they are with BJP. So essentially the people who are part of the alliance are all retired people or politically not very active.
Retired. Anurag, that's a big word when you say you have a lot of people who are actually technically on the retirement front. But for me, again, this alliance is democratically a little mind-boggling because Mr. Gokul also will understand what I'm trying to say. There's an election in Pudupalli, and that Pudupalli election, I think, might look like a small bipole happening away in Kerala because Mr. Oommen Chandi passed away. His son Chandi Oommen is contesting as the Congress candidate, and they have Jake Thomas from the CPM who are contesting as the candidate. Now, both of them, the guess that I want to in fact put out is this, that both of them that both of them are actually in the alliance. You had Sitaram Yechuri sitting next to Rahul Gandhi. Both of them are in alliance over here, and over there they are at each other's throats. So how does this alliance actually function? It's just, for a person who understands a little bit of politics, it's a little bit mind-boggling because I think this can happen only in India. Anurag, how do you in fact see that?
Look, on the example of Pudupalli election, Chandi Oommen is a good friend of mine, and I can tell you, although they are fighting together, that's what I said. Mr. Raja was there all over, in this conclave in Mumbai. And they have a discontent. Right from the beginning, when the left aligned with the Congress in the India alliance, these were essentially the leaders from the North India, the Delhi-based leaders who, of course, if you see the structure of the CPM in Kerala, it is a Pinarayi left, which is a different left compared to the national left that is happening. And Pinarayi Vijayan has created his own clout and his own kind of a entire aura in Kerala, and I think he has his own strategy, and of course, the way Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan is acting also is pretty much independent from Mr. Yechuri or Mr. Raja or whatsoever. If you know that,
but logically speaking, does it make political sense? You two parties that are fighting out in a local poll are actually an alliance on the other side, and again, a mind-boggling factor is that.
But the alliance and what they're talking about, the alliance is on a national front, and naturally on the local issues they will have their own things. But yes, again, what you said, a very important point is it doesn't send a right message to the cadre. So the same cadre who is going to fight against each other in this local election in Pudupalli will be asked to support. Probably, say for example, I give a Congress candidate, it can be somebody else, a Congress candidate, and then these are the same cadre who will be asked to campaign for this Congress candidate. Will it work? So that is the exact thing I'm trying to say. If the cadre is not willing to work, you cannot force them. You can decide something from Delhi or in Bombay, but if the cadre is not working for you, you will not win. So essentially, even if you manage to have one member per seat, but the cadre and the policy or whatever narrative that you're setting should also go down very well, and that should translate into the effort that is put out by the ground cadre, and that I think will not happen, because essentially these are the people who believe in ideology and they are responsible for the last mile voter, and the last mile voter has voted them on the basis of ideology and several other factors, which the people who are sitting in Bombay in the 5-star hotel are not discussing. Perhaps they're possibly discussing about चाय कैसा था, आज weather कैसा है, आज राहुल गांधी जी का प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस है, क्या ये लोग वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन लाने वाले हैं, Modi kuch bhi karte hai. So I mean, if they're at that level, and I think we have 6, 7, 8 months go to left for the elections, and they have not gone to the ground reality, and I see there is a practical issue with the success of India alliance totally.
Practical issue. Well, okay. We have Kiran Tare who joins us from the venue itself. Tare, we just went through your, walkthrough that you had given us a little earlier. And in that walkthrough, interestingly, you're saying there is a palpable tension. Nobody is speaking about it at all at that meet. Well, how is that tension looking right now? Has it, subsided, or is it that still people are in hushed tones speaking to you in certain corners saying that, boss, we are worried about this, we are worried about ceding our space, we are worried that, the Congress might give us a hard bargain, or the Congress leaders might be telling that we might have to accommodate in places where, we are strong and give them a space where they didn't have. Is that the case that is going on in hushed tones also there?
Certainly, there was a tension in the morning when the meeting started. The meeting is going on, it's underway, nothing has been concluded yet. But of course, Congress is on the back seat. I can see clearly the Congress is not in a position to have to dictate its terms to the alliance partners. What I am understanding from the meeting, which is going inside since last 2 hours, that the India alliance, the I.N.D.I.A alliance, they are in a mood to form 2 committees. One will be at the national level and one will be at the state level to coordinate with each other. So national level committee will be looking into the common minimum program and the agenda, of course, which they are claiming that which will be pro-poor, and the state level committee will formulate a formula how to go about the seat sharing. And there is one consensus among all the alliance partners that the seat sharing formula should be finalized as early as possible, because if they make a delay in that, the BJP will try to break the alliance, and that will be the biggest disadvantage for the I.N.D.I.A alliance. There is a sense in the alliance that yes, BJP is on a back foot, BJP is worried about its political prospectus, so this is the right time to hit the nail and corner the BJP to make the alliance, to make a grand entry into the political scenario and finalize the seat sharing formula. But here we saw some kind of tension in Congress when Kapil Sibal met Uddhav Thackeray. Kapil Sibal is the person who quit Congress, leveling some serious allegations against the top Congress leadership, and Kapil Sibal suddenly entered into the alliance meeting venue. That has created some kind of restlessness in the Congress party. But what will the Congress do? Will Congress accept that they are not going to play the dominant role, or they are going to play the second fiddle to other regional parties? This is a very interesting question. I have got some information that 3 prominent leaders, which is Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar, Mamata Banerjee and even Nitish Kumar, they have clearly conveyed their message that they will not compromise in their respective states whenever it comes to the seat sharing formula. So Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena, Sharad Pawar's NCP and Mamata Banerjee's TMC, they are going to dominate, because in their state they are feeling that Congress is not in a dominant position, so Congress should not ask for more. The only state where the Congress will be in a bargaining position, that will be MP, where other alliance partners are not in a good position. MP, Chhattisgarh, of course. Rajasthan, they are claiming that Congress will be doing better in Rajasthan, but again there will be a clashes in Punjab, where Aam Aadmi Party is going to have upper hand. So all these things are there. Let us wait for the joint statement. It is expected at around 4 o'clock today. If they are mentioning about the seat sharing or the logo, which is quite much hype thing for this alliance meeting, that there will be a logo and there will be a new design to that alliance representing something which is unique. But my information is that there are some differences of opinion and how the design should look like, what colors should be used in that logo. That is why the logo unveiling has been delayed. So alliance partners, they are not reaching to consensus of any other issue apart from deciding to form some committees at the state level. This is what happening in today. But I will be interested in knowing what kind of joint declaration, joint statement they are coming with. Are they going to mention the topic of corruption? Are they going to mention the topic of communal tension or any other points? That will give us a lead, that will give us a direction in which way the India alliance partners, they are moving ahead, and what could be their political strategy.
Well, that's much more interesting. We were actually adding to the heady mix that we are already having over here, speculating as to what role is the Congress trying to have. Is it trying to become a big brother seating, being a big brother sitting at the back bench and let the young brothers sit in the front bench? Is that the idea that is technically going on? Well, Tari, we will be coming to you for further details as well. Let me, in fact, get in my guess right now. Well, there was this Jeffries report that came out. This is a market sentiment, how they see the elections. So what the Jeffries report in fact said, some interesting facts were coming in with regard to it. So what it said is that when it looked at the swing analysis, it was saying that there was more to lose for the BJP. Now, how they did it is this. The BJP's victory in 303 seats last time was fairly strong outcome of the party winning 37% of the overall India vote. Now, they did a swing analysis to gauge the impact of it on a reverse basis, and what they did is that if the BJP's vote share in fact dropped by 1 percentage point, with the second best candidate getting all the vote in a particular constituency, then the total number of seats will drop by 20. Not a big number, but still it will be dropping by 20. So they went ahead and said that if it is a 4 PPT kind of 4 percentage point kind of a translation of votes there, then the single majority party will get only 270 total number of seats. So major seat drops will be seen in Uttar Pradesh with approximately 13% seats drop with just 2 percentage point vote loss. Party has a stronghold in 7 UTs, Arunachal, Daman and Diu, that is BJP is having a good stronghold over here. In Delhi, Tripura and Uttarakhand have up to 8 PP, that is percentage point share drop, will have very little impact is what is being said over here. So interesting analysis coming from the Jeffries, of course the market sentiment looking at it. So they are saying that what happens if there is going to be even 1 PPT drop, you're looking at a 20 seat percentage drop. Then they were talking about when it comes to a 4 PPT drop, of course the single majority party will have 270 total seats is what they are saying. So this is the percentage drop that they are looking at. But I think, there is this big wisdom that we have to ask. Gokul, do you think that when it comes to voters, that, getting all of them together, do you think there could be some kind of a vote transfer? Like you are trying to ensure that the secular vote is not split. You're trying to bring all the secular votes under one roof. But Anurag Naidu has a point. He says that it's very difficult for cadres to just make sense. So there are loyal, parties, voters for the regional parties who are also going to be miffed, and they might actually put out a protest vote against them joining the Congress. That is a possibility that could happen. So is the main agenda to stop the split of the secular vote?
Yeah, see, the problem you are saying will occur in 2 states, that is Kerala and Punjab. In Kerala and Punjab, Kerala, I don't think we'll have any alliance with CPM, and we'll be contesting separately as we did last time, the LDF versus UDF. So Kerala, at any cost,
so there is no seat sharing. See, that's what I'm trying to say. For me, making understanding that is difficult. You are in alliance, so there won't be any seat sharing with the CPM. You are going to contest the CPM on a national level in Kerala.
Because as Anurag rightly pointed out, the CPM led by Pinarayi Vijayan in Kerala is a different CPM from what Mr. Sitaram Yechuri is leading all over India.
Well, that is the only place where CPM is left.
Because the CPM is another fascist. The CPM in Kerala, led by Pinarayi Vijayan, is another fascist party like BJP. And see, at the end of the day, all these 20 seats in Kerala will be won by either CPM or Congress.
This is the exact aspect of the confusion that is there. Ideologically, politically, I mean, it doesn't make sense when you're going for the seat sharing as such. So that is why I was... Anyway, I'll just get another interesting aspect from the report as well. The opposition is fragmented is what they say. With the BJP in majority in the Lok Sabha lower house for a decade, the opposition is trying to act together. However, this is not an easy task with the opposition split substantially. The primary national opposition, that is the Congress party, has averaged less than 50 seats in the last 2 elections. Most of the other parties are limited to primarily one state, that is being state-specific parties. We see in the regional aspect of it. So, since the Congress, in many cases are just being sidelined when it comes to nationally, it's done a very poor performance in the last decade as such. It's never bounced back. The regional players are going to have been also becoming stronger at the expense of Congress. So, how on earth will the Congress be able to in fact go ahead and have a bargain with any of them? They are, as Thare was saying, they are already adamant. Stronger parties like TMC said that we will not be compromising. Nitish has said he's not going to compromise on his seats. So if the regional parties are going to stay strong on what they think is going to be strong, where would you start a negotiation for seat sharing among the alliance partners? Gokul? Gokul, you can hear me?
Hello, what's the question to me?
Yeah, the question was to you.
Yeah, sorry. See, take the example of Uttar Pradesh. Congress might be having just 5-6% of votes. As Jeffrey's report rightly points out, see, this 5-6% of votes transferring to a SP-INC alliance will make BJP to lose at least 40 seats. The 303 seats which we are talking about BJP, of those, some almost 80 seats came from UP, and right away they are knocked out of 40 seats. The same is the example of West Bengal also. In West Bengal also, Congress might be having just 7-8% of votes, but the CPM votes, the Congress votes, and TMC votes, when they get together, arithmetically, when they get together, BJP will end up with 0 seats in West Bengal. This is what the report says, and this is what we are looking up into.
So basically, you are looking at no split when it comes to the secular vote. That is the idea.
Exactly. So when you have to defeat BJP, as I said, you can't have an alliance with AAP in Punjab or CPM in Kerala. In all of the states, there have to be give and take, because in this state, let it be AAP in Punjab or CPM in Kerala, even they might not be willing for an alliance with Congress party and vice versa. So other than these 2 states, in all other states, the bigger partner should accommodate the junior partner with reasonable amount of seats. For example, if BSP comes into India alliance, then in Madhya Pradesh, if they ask for 1 seat or maybe 2 seats and Rajasthan 1 seat, the Congress party should be generous enough to give them 1 or 2 seats in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, because in these 2 states, the BSP is having a sizable amount of votes, though shattered, some 4-5%. So that's how arithmetically it works out. See, more than this arithmetic and mathematics, there is a perspective. When all these parties come together, forget the maths, forget the percentages. When all these parties come together, when people feel, see, if Mamata Banerjee and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary can get together, or Arvind Kejriwal and Alka Lamba can get together, so there is something serious we should think about to defeat BJP, because BJP is such a venomous party for India. So people might get a perspective. When these people get together, there is something serious. So it is perspective part as well as the arithmetic part.
But see, I have one more aspect. Tare had mentioned about it. One thing is that Kapil Sibal made a sudden entry. And, it has created a lot of flutter within the Congress grouping as such. And what I understand is that Rahul Gandhi was also apprised about it. KC Venugopal was upset about it. And it is being also said that, Farooq Abdullah as well as Akhilesh Yadav tried to also placate Venugopal. So is Kapil Sibal there with the, with the permission of all these leaders? And then he met Uddhav Thackeray as well. And he also participated in the photo session. So Kapil Sibal entry into an alliance, also into the alliance meeting that is being, pushed across as a meeting where the Congress is trying to bring in some kind of cohesion with these 28 parties. It has in fact already, it's like setting out the wolf among caged sheep, and it's created a flutter already. And what is it? Why is it that Kapil Sibal suddenly makes a presence like this?
See, Mr. Kapil Sibal is a very senior statesman, and he's a very senior Supreme Court lawyer. And he had only one problem with Congress party, that Congress party should hold elections and there should be a president in place, and that has been done. So that is done away with. The mind which Mr. Kapil Sibal has, because this, we talked about arithmetic, we talked about perspective, there is a law, there is a constitutional part also which comes into play, and Kapil Sibal will be the right person to, when you make a common minimum program or when you make a statement together, Kapil Sibal, the mind like Kapil Sibal will be the right choice to get in and give his words, give his voices, and that
So
would
has
make
the
the
Congress forgiven Kapil
CMP
Sibal?
or the statement complete.
So the Congress
No,
has forgiven
Congress
Kapil
has
Sibal.
forgiven. See, in that case, you see that crowd, see each and every face. You can ask each and every name from that crowd and ask: Has Congress forgiven Mamata Banerjee? Has Congress forgiven Sharad Pawar? Has Congress forgiven Lalu Prasad Yadav? This can keep on going. See, there is no personal enmity between Kapil Sibal or any of the leaders. He had some ideological issues within the Congress because he was a staunch congressman. He felt that the things which were going is not right. So later on, the Congress party made amendments to it and they made a course correction. And now I think it is win-win for both Kapil Sibal as well as Congress party. So I don't think Kapil Sibal being there in the meeting should be a thorn anywhere.
Well, we are just having that photo shoot just being displayed over there, where Sybil is said to have made his presence felt. So, where we have Farooq Abdullah, Sonia Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, we have DMK chief also there, Stalin there. In fact, we have also Kapil Sibal also in that photo shoot. So it looks like some kind of a compromise has been struck when it came to Kapil Sibal's sudden presence and meeting with the senior leaders over there. Of course, nobody wanted to upset the current situation on the ground, and it looks like from you what I understand, Gokul Chandra, is that there is a chance that Kapil Sibal might be back in your party as well. So that seems to be the message that you would actually put out, because you said you need someone like him to make that statement that you would want the party to in fact erudite about it. But anyway, let me go to Anurag Naidu on this. When I was looking at the Jeffries report again, this is to in fact buttress your point that you were raising. Can opposition unity actually drive seat wins? The analysis that was carried out by them had some interesting takes on it. They say that their analysis of the opposition unity does indicate some loss for the BJP, but likely limited to about just 15 to 25 seats. We have assumed that the alliance partner members put up a unified candidate against the BJP in the respective constituencies. The losses for the BJP could primarily come from the state of West Bengal, where the BJP can lose around 10 and then 18 if it from where it had won 18 in 2019, and the opposition was relatively fractured with the Congress left parties in opposition to the ruling. So the other potential large impact can come from two other major past BJP allies shifting, that is the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra and the JDU in Bihar. So real impact is tough to evaluate given the seat share agreements in 2019, subsequent splits, likely breakaways in these regions. So even though the Shiv Sena UVT faction and the NCP Sharad Pawar faction is with the Congress, as you rightly pointed out, Anurag, the people who actually built the factions of those parties are with the BJP. So on the ground, it doesn't actually turn out to be any kind of advantage. That is what the Jeffries are saying. But then coming to that other aspect as such, one, you don't get the complete clout of getting all these parties together. Is it also the danger of Congress ceding their space in areas where they are strong to parties that don't even exist in those areas? Like, for example, AAP has been trying to make demands in certain states for their entry. You have the Tirunamul also asking for certain states where the Congress is already strong. So is ceding space to them, will it be like the camel, the Arab letting the camel into the tent kind of a scenario for the Congress?
I think Congress strong, when we say, I think it's more a very imaginary phenomena today, because, when we say strong, like you also mentioned, it is imaginary because Congress once used to be that power in this particular states. Congress for a long time used to be that particular state or few states. But the recent data does not indicate that they are strong. So that is why they go down on the negotiation table. Somebody like Aam Aadmi Party will say, okay, there were time when you were ruling the state, but now we are ruling. Now, if Congress might claim that it was Sheila Dikshit for 15 years, we are very strong in Delhi. But where are the seats in the last 10 years for Congress in Delhi? So the data suggests otherwise. So you cannot really claim Congress is strong, except states like Karnataka, states like Kerala, a bit of kind of Of course, I mean, I really cannot imagine any other state, maybe a bit of Madhya Pradesh, where they are into a direct contest. But let's also understand the BJP that we have today is not the BJP that was during the Vajpayee and Advani time. This BJP, led by Mr. Amit Shah and the entire team of Mr. Modi, they are a very data-driven, they're an analytical party. They analyze the media narrative. If you see yesterday's narrative, Rahul Gandhi was all there to do a press conference on Adani, and look at the googly. There is just one news break that there is a special parliament session happening. Entire news fraternity is flooded with the news and debates on the parliament section and one nation, one election. We all know that it is practically not possible to do one nation, one election in the next at least one or foreseeable future. But why this narrative is to break away from the narrative that opposition is trying to build. So BJP is not something that is sleeping in Luxembourg and not knowing what's happening in India. So they know very well why they are when the India alliance comes together. They know that it's going to do some kind of a damage, or there's a potential to do some kind of a loss. How do you tackle that is what they have built a narrative. Now, see the breaking away in Maharashtra with the Shiv Sena and the NCP. What BJP has essentially done it. If you actually analyze, there are seats where NCP was in direct contest with Shiv Sena. There were seats where NCP was in direct contact with the BJP. There were seats where Shiv Sena was in direct contest with the Congress, which is the Shiv Sena of Mr. Shinde's faction. Now they have united all these three parties. They are going to have one candidate against Congress potentially. And I don't want to, claim the NCP, Uddhav Thackeray faction and the Sharad Pawar faction, because right now in the seats that they have lost to, the BJP as a matter of transition, they don't have the candidates, or they're not found the new candidates. So when they find the new candidates, we'll have a separate debate. But today, there is only one candidate possibly pitted against the Congress that is not prepared on that seats, because for the last 15, 20 years as a matter of alliance, or 30 years, they have given up these seats to the NCP. Now, what essentially, this is the step one. Step two is they have also, pushing this narrative to the BJP cadre, because BJP has a very strong cadre in Maharashtra. They're going to put a narrative this, whatever has happened is there to ensure Mr. Modi is back, and Mr. Modi is back with a stronger military fighting to give strength to Mr. Modi. That's going to be the narrative. And you don't undermine the potential of this narrative when Mr. Modi stands and campaigns for himself. He completely sweeps away. There is not a single data that shows that Mr. Modi's effect has gone down. I would possibly be very bold enough to put that Mr. Modi's popularity today, nationally and internationally, is at all-time high. And data will suggest you that. So you see how much of the buzz was around the Chandrayaan. People may contest that Mr. Modi hijacked the movement, but people of India love to see it. The TRP is on an all-time high, and they like the speech and the emotional connect that Mr. Modi showed towards the ISRO scientists. So the things are selling. So we are in election season. BJP is doing what's right for them, and it's selling.
Well, we'll get that, Anurag. In fact, that makes it as such. But then my colleague Tare, who's at the venue meet, Tare, the big challenge for the Congress is that they need to be in some major states which has large parliamentary seats. For example, Uttar Pradesh, which has got 80 parliamentary seats. Bihar has almost 48. West Bengal, 42. Maharashtra, again, somewhere above 40. So in these major states, and Tamil Nadu, which is around 39 parliamentary seats, in these major states, you don't have the Congress in power. And these are states that have huge number of parliamentary seats. And over there, we don't have the Congress party in power at all. This is affecting them in their bargaining today, because all these states, what you have are regional parties who have entrenched themselves and have a larger bargaining power, because they are actually sitting on a state that has got enough and more to give them clout when it comes to parliamentary seats. Is that what is affecting the Congress today when they actually sit for the third meeting of the India Alliance?
Of course, the future of the I.N.D.I.A alliance, it depends upon how flexibility the Congress shows. If the Congress is willing to take a backseat and allow the regional parties which are in a stronger position in their respective seats, then this alliance would survive. They are talking about fielding one-on-one candidate against the BJP in almost 475 seats. That's not a small number, it's a very big number. And if you have to get to the consensus in 475 seats, you need to show some kind of flexibility, which I think the Congress is willing to show. My information is that the Congress has prepared its mind not to even stake his claim on the prime ministerial post in the beginning. What the Congress formula is, the Congress will offer the prime ministerial seat to the regional parties and will request them to choose a candidate unanimously for the post. If they can succeed in choosing their candidate, the Congress will back out. But if they are not able to choose their candidate, then the Congress will stake the claim. So Congress is willing to show the flexibility. The issue remains about the major states, and it's very interesting that one Congress senior person had told me at some point of time that whenever the Congress goes down below 16% of votes, the Congress has never returned to the power in that respective state. You take an example of UP, Bihar, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, after the Congress government, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. All these major states, the Congress never returned to the power because they have gone below 16%. So the Congress main challenge will be to get at least those kind of 16% of votes which it requires to float, which it requires to stay relevant in the politics. Is Congress getting that in the states? Apart from Maharashtra, I don't think they are getting any votes in that. Maharashtra situation is very different. There is a kind of a resurgence in Congress I can see in the parts of Vidarbha and Marathwada in Congress. If Congress plays its cards very well, the Congress can retain its 16% vote share, and in some point of time they can go about 20% as well. So if Congress is regaining in Maharashtra, but if it is losing in the seat sharing formulation with NCP and the Shiv Sena, then the Congress is not getting anything out of that. So even if Congress is strong on the ground, but is not getting enough seats to contest, the Congress will have to face a big loss.
Right.
That is what the tricky situation is. So everything depends upon the Congress. Everything, see if the Congress leadership, they will have to consider whether they want to defeat BJP or whether they want to make their presence felt in the alliance, whether they want to make dominance in the alliance.
Right. Thank you, Tare, for in fact joining us from the ground. Thank you, Anurag, as well as Lieutenant Gokul Chandran for joining us in this discussion and giving us a perspective of the alliance meeting. And of course, the big question is, it's a challenging alliance. It's not an easy alliance. And they have called it, of course, as I.N.D.I.A. And it looks like the Congress is trying a very different formulation right now. But for a party that has all its chips down, it looks like it's trying to think out of the box. But how much of that thinking will actually be enough to fight a party which is already so well entrenched and whose powerful expressions, especially in its leader, have been seen in the last 1 decade, which has technically decimated the presence of the Congress in many places. So that's going to be a big challenge for the Congress to, in fact, go ahead and can this out-of-the-box thinking help it. But that is a wrap on this show. On the other side, stay tuned towards News 9. We get you some of the big stories of the day on the other side.
China won't let us rest easy on our borders, but they will keep flooding our markets. What does Xi Jinping really want?
I think he wants the Indian market, no doubt about it. It's really a matter of